Hi, everybody. This is Patrick Driggett of the Berlin Fire, and we're here with BS of the Week, covering everything in the big sky for Gridiron 3. Uh, like I said, I'm the coach of the Berlin Fire, and I am joined by my coach, my fellow coach, who is.
Hi there, I'm Kevin Lucy from the Glasgow Rushmores. Nice to be here, Patrick.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm back. Sorry about last week. I know that no one probably missed me, but I had some things being delivered last minute, and unfortunately had to jump off and leave um, Kev with Lee, who I really wanted to hang out with. He's in my division. A long time person who I wish I would have had more time with.
No
So
problem.
I'm
No
glad you got
problem.
to spend time with.
Good stuff. So, what are we doing today then?
Well, I think we're going to talk about week 5 games. We have the results. Everything's humming along now after our long hiatus a couple weeks ago. So we're week 5 games have just happened a couple days ago, and I think you were going to talk about the LFC.
Yep. I'll do the LFC, shall I?
Sounds good.
Okay, well, I might as well put you out your misery and start with your game, mate. The Fire against the Phoenix. The Fire 10, Phoenix 35. I think you'll probably agree with me. This was really a bit of a rushing masterclass by the Phoenix. 424 yards on the ground, and really there wasn't an awful lot your defense could do about it. Verdell, their running back, 249 yards. Their other running back, Quinero, 169 yards. I know you've been badly hit with injuries, so I don't know how much of an influence that had on the game. Maybe you can
I
tell us,
think
Patrick.
I think it had a big. Well, I would say he caused more injuries that were impactful to me than I think going into that game. I had injuries, and I did lose Rosser, who's my starting run flat guy, and he got an F, and so he's on injured reserve right now. I knew I was going to have a hard time, and his defense is really good too. I mean, that's really. I think that's the other side of that is I couldn't move the ball, against
Yeah.
him, and then and then my defense just isn't there. That's the part of the puzzle where I'm not quite getting there yet. That's where it's going
Yeah.
to take me another season or two. And yeah, well played to Ian.
Yeah. No, I mean it was a good win. I mean the Phoenix, the fact that they're one of only two teams in the LFC that have got a 5-0 record. I think that in itself speaks for itself. He's done a fantastic job there. Great season. More or less booked his place in the postseason, I think. But yeah,
I mean,
great
I
great
hope him
win.
and Lee are battling it out for the rest of
Yeah,
the season.
great win there. Next game, Sharks and the Bucks. Got to be honest, this one was a bit of a surprise to me because the Sharks had a bit of a blimp the week before, and a 36-9 victory for the Sharks was a lot higher than I thought it would be. Um, I would say it's a massive win. Mainly, I think Ben's offense woke up. It's been struggling like hell the last few weeks, but Barneson, he got a rollicking from Ben a couple of weeks ago, and their quarterback seems to have now woken up. Um, the thing with Ben's team, which impressed me, was it was a balanced offense in as much as they shifted the ball for 254 yards passing and 227 yards rushing. So once you think you've closed one down, the other one opens up, and that's always a very good sign for a potential playoff team. And it does. It kept the Bucks offense quiet as well through his defense. So the two factors together made it a perfect result, really, for Ben, which evens up the LFC West on 4-1. So it's Bucks 4-1, and the Sharks put 4-1. So it's all
Making
to
it
play
exciting.
for. Yeah, and that's a very interesting division there. Next game on my list is the Irish against the Massive, 24-30. Um, it's always the commentator's curse they call it over here. I wrote Martin's season off last week, and then of course what does he go and do? He goes and wins, and he has a brilliant win. So Martin, please accept my sincerest apologies. This was a close game, and in fact it could have gone either way. In fact, when the Irish came back to the game back to 24-30 with just 3 minutes left, it could have been close. But what happened was Martin's team and his game management just meant that they kept the ball. It's as simple as that. And then the Irish never got the ball back in the last 3 minutes, having come all the way back. So close yet so far, as they say. A good win there for the Massive. Patriots against the Rushmores. Oh my God, my season goes on. Just about sums up my season, to be quite honest. So far this season, I had a 1-point loss, a 3-point loss, a 3-point loss, and a 7-point loss. To be quite honest, those games could have gone anyway, really. My big problem, to be quite blunt, is that Newmaker got 595 yards in the air. Don't know what the hell my defense was playing about, but
that was really,
yeah, it was a problem. I mean, the offense, so scoring 38 points, you've got to be reasonably pleased with that. But giving away 41 and so much in the air. So all I can say is well played, Steve. Got to be honest here, neither team is really going anywhere on this one. That now takes Steve to 1-4. I am still on 0-5, and it's looking like one awful season. So I should swiftly move on to the Statesmen against the Sun Devils. Statesmen 36, Sun Devils 14. This one really was a relatively easy win, and it puts Leeds back on track, as it were. It was 30-14 at half time, so really the game was pretty much over. Lee is still not in the playoff picture, but watch out the Fire and watch out Craig's 66ers, because you're at the moment in 7th slot and Craig's in 6th slot, and I can see very much that Lee is after one of those.
I actually don't question it. I think he's getting a wild card for sure. Yeah. I think he'll get it.
I do think the Phoenix have won that division, but it's still all to play for wild cards. Next game on my list is the Hornets and the 66ers. Hornets 30, 66ers 16. 14. Again, really, Colin is really putting it together. He is the other team in the LFC that is 5-0. And again, it was the old brigade, if you like. Tripson, 236 yards. Watson, 166 yards. Calgary passed for 451 yards from 66 attempts. And really, there's not much more to say about that. When those guys get going, it's going to be one hell of a defense that can stop them. The Hornets are now 2 games clear, and it looks as if they've got the division sewn up. And Craig is now in a bit of a battle, probably a 3-way battle for the wild card spot, because he's had a couple of losses now. And he's got to start putting some wins together. The good news for Craig, of course, is he's playing me shortly. So
it sounds like we have an alert. I don't know what that was. That was funny though. It sounded like we got a news alert. That chime that went off.
Yeah, it was. It was the missus. Hey, where the hell are you?
Oh, okay. New injury news. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Rhinos and the Shadows. This one was closer than I expected. The Shadows have had a poor season so far, so to come so close is quite a good performance, actually. 29-22, got to be truthful, it wasn't the greatest of games. 11 turnovers in total. So it was a game really strewn with errors right throughout it. But the Shadows now have the dubious record of sharing the Norton 5 with my good self. We are the only 2 teams in the LFC that haven't had a win as yet. But the good news is we play each other in week 10.
So first win bonus coming in.
Yes, exactly. Next one, Weasels and the Knights. Close game, this one. Oh my goodness, 27-30. What a battle it was. It was 17-all at halftime. Bit of a strange game. Basically, it was a 17-0 lead. Then Knights fought themselves back to 17 each, and then it was nip and tuck. And basically, the Weasels took the lead again, and were leading 27-23 right up until 2 minutes from the end, 57 minutes and 40 seconds. And then Gudgeon came up got the quarterback for the Knights, came up with a 32-yard medium pass, followed by a 22-yard sideline pass, which then ended in a touchdown and a win. So quite a performance all round there, and a great late comeback, as it were. So well played, the Knights. It makes that, as I say, quite an interesting sort of setup there. Okay, so I think those are the ones I have on my list, Patrick.
Yeah, that sounds good. Question. I have a quiz question for you. Pop quiz.
All right.
How many home teams won their games this week?
Good question. I would say very few. In the LFC.
Six altogether, 3 in each conference.
Wow.
That's
excellent.
Crazy that home field advantage was not doing very well this week.
No, that's fascinating.
Yeah. I saw that. I said, whoa, that's crazy. Onto the PFC. So, first we had Surfers beat the Maroons. It was a very close game. We'll talk about that one in a little bit. Titans Stormers, 6-13. Stormers win. For a slow scoring game, though, you'd go, wow, not a whole lot going on. There was over 500 yards of offense in this game, including on the Titans, who only scored 221 yards from wide receiver Sicaro. So really the fumbles tell the rest of the story there. But, this was an active game that just wasn't putting points on the board. It's just sometimes the score line doesn't tell you everything, right? It was an interesting game. So I wouldn't call it necessarily exciting with all the turnovers. Those in themselves can be exciting and turning points, but I think there were so many, it was just back and forth, But Stormers come out on top, 13-6. Rapiers at Chargers. Phil's Rapiers win. It was a great game. Rapiers come out and they just charge ahead, pull a huge lead out, and then just stop scoring. I don't know if it went to the game over offense like a couple minutes in or something, because then the Chargers come back and they really Rapiers held them right at the end and they made it exciting. The Chris, obviously, who's been a guest several times as well, he really made a play at it. He said, hold on a second, I've got something for that, and he tried and made it a really fun game. But Rapiers win. Eagles at Devils, no comment. I don't know if it was. I don't know if the Devils even put a game plan. I'm really not sure what happened there, but not a whole lot to say there. 52-0. At that point, it's professionals versus little league stuff. Generals 27 beating the Rough Riders. Rough Riders just couldn't hold on to the ball. Another turnover problem there. Differential was huge. Rivets at Bombers. I don't think there's anybody who expected anything different. That wasn't going to be the Bombers. Unfortunately, everyone's obviously they're giving their all, but against the Rivets, they're just not going to have what it takes right now, and hopefully they get there. Huskies 6, Packers 52. This is another odd one where the Huskies actually hit their wide receiver Irvin 163 yards, but not a lot to show for the effort. So, Packers easily put this one away, but there was still some movement there with the Huskies. They just couldn't get points on the board. Then Bulldogs beat the Warriors 35-14. It was a really terrific offensive performance by the Bulldogs, and they took over again. The turnovers here were pretty massive from the Warriors, and the Bulldogs just exploited that to win the game. So
Miranda's team seems to be coming along now. She's sort of got a feet under the table and seeing some good results from them recently. Yeah,
absolutely. So I think next week, we'll revisit kind of the standings. I didn't look at the division standings this week, unfortunately, like you did for the LFC. So apologies there, but obviously some of the battles, right? Like aren't the Rivets are doing all right, but I think they're safe. But we'll visit that next week. But as promised, I was going to talk about the Surfers and Maroons because they are our game of the week. So, Maroons pull out early, and then like just first drive, come out, score, and then it's a snoozer for the whole first half. Nothing's happening. Then second half, the Maroons pull out early. So then the second half, Surfers come out after doing nothing the whole first half, and then just immediately drive, counter punch, and then Maroons immediately come back, and now it's a battle, just back and forth the whole game. And then with 1 minute to go, the Surfers are able to score and hold on to it. Maroons, they tried streaks, and it just couldn't get in the end zone. But it was a fun one. It was a exciting game where you just said, "Oh gosh, I hope I don't have to watch that whole half of the second half." And they did not. That whatever they went to the locker room and everybody had a talk, and they came back. It was just it was great.
You think the coaches had a word, do you?
Yeah, I think some people, there were definitely bad words said. Some jobs were threatened, and everyone came back motivated. So, there were some really good games this week, though. I want to give some honorable mentions. We talked about some of them, but Rapier's Chargers, excellent honorable mention. Patriots Rushmore, sorry, Kev, you were on the wrong end of that. Weasels at Knights. So there was a lot of, I think the Irish Massive game, right? Irish Massive was good as well. So there's some really good games this week, but I want to give it to the Surfers at Maroons. I think that was a really good game for some good teams. Yeah. And that's our game of the week. Do you want to tell us our player of the week?
Yeah, player of the week. Again, same idea that there are a lot of, you can never really move past the usual suspects, as it were. But my player of the week this week, what I've learned over the weeks is that getting yardage and time of possession, all the rest of it really doesn't matter if you don't put the flaming thing into the end zone. So my player of the week this week is a quarterback who got the job done in the last 2 minutes, and that is Gudgeon for the Knights. He had 420 yards in total, so he wasn't exactly idle in the rest of the match. 84% completion rate. So again, for a quarterback, pretty good. 129 rating, so obviously highly rated. But the key thing that did it for me is the two passes, the final two passes of the game. One for 32 yards, one for 22 yards, resulting in getting the ball into the end zone and winning the game. So certainly a fourth quarter, 2 minute finish to end all. So my player of the week this week is quarterback Gudgeon.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. It was there's some good games. Definitely. Yes. I don't think anybody could have guessed how the season was going to go. I mean, I think you definitely could say, well, the Rivets are going to do well, right? And there's a couple of the usual suspects, but I just look at how well the Phoenix are doing, which I don't think anybody expected. At least I didn't, not with the coaching change. And so I'm really excited for Ian to have taken that team on and really doing something interesting with it. Yeah. Obviously, I'm very interested in hoping that he has a sophomore slump for the Fire's benefit. But anyway, he's done a really good job managing that team. Yeah. I think there's a lot of 66ers have been a real surprise. You go up against Tripson and the Hornets, but there's been some real surprises this year, and it's exciting to see that.
Yeah, it is. It's been a good close year. I mean, I think Lee summed it up. If we take the Rivets out, there are one heck of a lot of good teams in there that on any given day could beat each other. So yeah, it's been a good season so far. Long may it continue.
Yeah, we're halfway through the regular season, so that's good. Awesome. Well, appreciate everything, Kev. Thanks for holding down the fort last week with Lee, and I think next week you're not going to be with us.
I'm going to be missing. Yeah, I'm going to be missing.
Yeah, you've got a prior engagement. The Hall of Fame wants to interview you. No.
Hall of Infamy, probably.
But yeah, I'll be here, and we'll talk about the Week 6 results. But I hope that you and everyone else out there have an awesome week.
Yeah. Goodbye, guys. Take care.
Bye.